possibly.
Man, it feels like it's been forever since we've been on here.
It really does. It feels like it's been a while. But
I
I
mean,
guess
that week was a month, right?
yeah, quote Robert Voss there, Camp Counselor Bob. Man, Mega Week was crazy. We're going to talk about it in the second half of the show. The first half of the show is like recapping the biggest weekend in drag and drive history. Like I was making notes, and dude, the show tonight's it's jam packed. It is jam packed. So I guess I probably better get started, huh?
Yeah, we should probably do that.
All right, guys, welcome to episode 109 of the Drag Drive Repeat Show presented by Summit Racing. Tonight, we're recapping the biggest weekend in Drag and Drive, how many racers participated, who ran what, and who won what. Mr. Eric White, hit that intro video and let's do this, sir.
All right, let's do it.
Man, what an incredible week last week. We're gonna talk about that at the end. Guys, my name is Mike Narks. I'm the host of the Drag Driver Pete Show and news that happens on Saturday mornings. Tonight we're live for 2 hours, no guests, literally hammering through all of the data that came from the biggest weekend and subsequent week in Drag and Drive history. My right hand man, Mr. Eric White, was on that trip with me, and dude, I can't wait to talk about it, man. Tell him what you got going on.
I am Eric White, co host of both the show and the news. Everything Drag Drive Repeat related, part of artwork. This past week was photographs, still going through. What did I tell you? 6,600 photographs for
Mhm.
this week. So we're all the way up to day 5. So I got 5, 6, and 7 left to go. So those will be coming soon. But man, yeah. And then outside of that, Motorsports Paparazzi's been popping off. So been uploading some stuff there, trying to grow that. And it's been crazy.
Yeah, it has been wild, dude, and congratulations on all that. I'm actually going to share this. I'm asking everybody to do the same to the Rocky Mountain Race Weekers page right now. And I tell you, crazy group of folks out there. Some of our best race car friends. We just got to hang out with them, man. It was really cool to get to spend that kind of time with so many people. Like I want folks to understand how awesome it was to see everybody and hang out and just man. We're going to talk about that later. I promise. Thank you so much for being our race car friends. Hit the share button as you're coming in here. Let's do this. Let's have some fun. And we couldn't have made that trip without our sponsors. Sponsors make a big part of this. They make our travel possible, our equipment possible, all that kind of stuff. So Summit Racing, Deech Works, Molly Motorsports, Driven Racing Oil. We get to hang out with all of them this weekend or last week while we were on Mega Week. Howard's Cams had to lean on Luke B. Man, I appreciate him being such a great partner, actually overnighting a cam to us to try and get the old truck back together. It's actually what's going to go in the old truck next. J-Wire Solutions, big congratulations to those guys on their win. They put all of the podium at Drop the Hammer was for the 545 class was J-Wire Solutions cars. WAF Racing, can't wait to see Chris very soon. Performer Built Transmissions, Car Change 3D, Power Tube TV, Sweet Patina, and Racing Junk Classified. Y'all, we can't do it without all of those folks. So if you're trying to, get you some more car parts, we would appreciate if you'd slide over there and try and get it from them. That'd be awesome. But before we start the show, I want to talk about Graham Smith, Bad Apple Racing. You guys know this guy. He's been to the States a lot for Drag and Drive. Him and his wife Rachel are like the UK, the European liaisons for SICTA magazine. They are highly involved in this community that we love. And obviously, you guys see the picture here for the folks that are listening on the podcast. It is Graham's '57 Chevrolet called Grimhilda. That is absolutely a beautiful car, fast car, all that kind of stuff. A couple weeks ago, he was making it past 150 plus miles an hour. Car caught on fire. He is okay. Safety equipment did its job. His suit and everything did what it was supposed to do. But the car is basically needs to be completely rebuilt. So they have a GoFundMe set up. I'm going to drop that down into the chat right now. And then they're about 91% of their goal right now. So we would love it if our race car friends could help put them over to be that close to their goal. That tells you that is a lot of race car friends that are already helping these folks out. Again, lovely couple, love them. They do great work for the entire drag and drive community. And to see that go down, pretty tough, man. I'm glad he is okay. You guys know Tom Bagley. We absolutely wore him out last week. Got to have a ton of videos with Tom. He is Graham's co-pilot on a lot of the street weekend stuff. So they're actually working. Tom posted just a few minutes ago upside down in another '57 Chevrolet that they're working to get ready for Street Weekend UK, which kicks off here pretty soon, like in the next 2 days.
Whew.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty wild. Well, you guys know Summit Racing is our title sponsor here for the show, news, and the circuit. So Summit Racing's speed legacy began in 1968 as a one-man startup and is now the world's speed shop with 4 huge facilities and 200 plus catalog editions. They feel your passion, save you money, deliver fast, and offer top-notch customer service for more than 1,500 brands. Make sure to download the Summit Racing mobile app for easy access to speed parts. You can find them on Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram if you're looking for places to follow them and see all of their awesome content. Also, you can tune into the On All Cylinders podcast, which is like automotive discussions, kind of like what we got going on here. From humble origins to the social media lane, Summit Racing stands by your need for speed. And if you don't already have the app downloaded, you can find it on summitracing.com. 1,500 brands, millions of products. I don't even know. I can't even explain the number of products they have. But one thing they did have last week was 2 visitors.
Yeah, first time I've ever been to a Summit Racing. So obviously, as we were leaving Texas Motorplex, heading back to Tulsa, we made a pit stop here and stopped by
wasn't a
the
pit
warehouse.
Stop. That was like an hour-long trip out of the way, but it was so worth it, man.
Yeah. So we got to stop there, which was super cool. For me, got to see obviously the catalog with the pictures from Hot Rod Drag Week on there was very cool to see. Store was super cool and even left with a new ATI balancer.
Yeah, we're standing the outlet center, which is it, for the folks watching. You can see me walking in there. Eric snagged a picture there. We were just walking around. We weren't going to buy anything, I promise. And then we start looking. Well, dude, if you go faster than 1099, you've got to have a balancer. And Eric's Mustang is going to immediately go quicker than 1099. So it'd probably go 1099 on street tires. So we needed one. It was, dude, I think it was more than half off. Am I correct?
Was like $200 off.
Yeah. So we had to pick that up. So, had to do that. And obviously had a good time, man. The folks in there are so cool in the outlet center, plus in the big store. I mean, we didn't even buy anything in the big store. We could have bought some Drag Driver Pete merch, but we had a whole bunch of shirts and stuff. And by that point, we had one more day left. And you're like, I don't need a big brim hat anymore. If we've got one day left, my neck will just be cooked. So,
yeah. Yeah. So we wanted to we just wanted to make a stop in there and we were trying to get back to Tulsa, and it was a go in, walk around, check it out. Cool to see. We should probably get back on the road, just like everything that week was.
Yeah.
We didn't plan real well.
No.
We didn't know what we didn't know going into it. That's what it was.
I think that's probably the best way to say it too. Is because you really don't understand from a media side what you even need to do. Our plan was to follow like class leaders or 10 people, and dude, the minute we got there and saw 500 cars, that was out the window.
Right.
God, it was like too many people to hang out with. So anyways, we had a blast at Summit. Big thanks to Tommy and Alec who worked the truck at Tulsa and then at Flying H. And then from there, they kind of skirted on towards the house to, let them get their truck ready to go for Six Summer. Actually, I think they were getting the truck ready to go to Power Tour, and then
Yeah.
it'll also be on Six Summer. So
And they
pretty cool,
sold
pretty
out of
crazy.
the drag drive repeat brim hats on
Yep.
day 0 of Mega
And
Week.
nearly sold out of shirts. It was pretty crazy.
Yeah, pretty awesome.
Yep, that is for sure. Well, highly recommend if you're in the Dallas, if you're in New Mexico, if you're in Ohio, if you're in Georgia, swing by the Summit locations, and you can pick your Drag Driver Pete Summit branded merch up right there. You can get shirts, hoodies, and big brim hats to help save for all that stuff. And I did get to give out the $100 on day 0, walking around. I want to give a big shout out to Eric Kuhn. He actually would not accept the 20. Appreciate that. So he just got a big hug and a race car friend sticker.
Pretty awesome.
Yep, it was pretty awesome. So uh, again, big shout out to Summit for all they do for us and the community. The entire community is benefited so much by Summit. And then let's talk about some drag drive repeat updates, because if you guys don't know, we've been pushing hard, more than 80 videos just to YouTube in the last 28 days. Dude, that's almost 3 a day posted over
Yeah.
there. So we probably could have done more. I'm surprised we only had like, I think of those, only 30 of those were shorts, which would have been the easiest to make while we were at race week, but we were out of time. So we crossed 10,000 subscribers. Big, big, big shout out to the Rocky Mountain Race Weeker family and all the folks that are watching on Bank Shift Live. And of course, Adam Dory, who helped us get there. We went into the tower at what, 99.98?
9. It was
99.
99.99 when we walked
Man,
up to them.
Texas Motorplex were like, please, sir, we need just one. Please, we need one.
And
And
we
so
got
he
like
got it.
15.
Yeah, yeah. And it just blew up, man. Literally the next time, like he said something and we refreshed it and it was 10,006. So picked up 7. It was pretty cool. Big shout out to Todd Sizemore, who was our 10,000th subscriber. So appreciate him. And man, one thing we haven't talked about much, I'll back up one thing. One thing we haven't talked about much is the Dragon Drive World Champion, because it's literally been sick week until now. Like that, we had one event since the end of January or the start of February until now that counted for points. That doesn't, I mean, like once you say it 2 or 3 times, that doesn't give you much to talk about after that. So with Rocky Mountain Race Week, I spent half the day yesterday, maybe more, working on points for the sick week RMRW event and the race week event, which was Group A and Group B. Okay. So lots of data manipulation yesterday, trying to get all of these things figured out. Want to give a huge shout out to Randy Seward, who is our first points leader with 2 events under our belt. 74 points. What's really cool about Randy getting this is he literally could not have gotten more points. He he can't. He reset records at both Sick Week and Rocky Mountain Race Week. He was in Group A, set records in the classes for those. He ran, of course, 850s. That gives him an extra 2 points. Okay, he can't get any more. He can't go faster. And winning his classes gets him 8. And of course, finishing the 2 events. So there's very few racers that have done 2 events. Randy Seward is one of them. Azim Sheik, big shout out to Azim Sheik out here with 70 points. Dude, that's 4 points behind. That's not bad considering he's a mid 9-second car. Like this is exactly why these points work. Is because Azim is behind by the 2 points that it would make up for the numbers. Because 2 points for 8 seconds, 0 points for 10 seconds. So Azim won a class. Hang on, I think I made notes about how he got to his. Nope. So I'm going to lay all this out. I've got an article that started basically. So Azim Sheik, 70 points. He's in second place. And then one of our favorite cars, Jason King, out here holding up third place with 57 points. One of the only other racers to do both events this year, both Sick Week and Rocky Mountain or Race Week. 57 points. Now from there, it gets tight for about the next 4 spots. Literally stuff people 1, 2, 3 points away from the spot above them. So my plan is to do a post tomorrow morning that will drop, that will be talking about the top 10, and then how we are going to look moving into Six Summer and Big Sky Race Week, which take place next week, and how that is going to affect, like, whatever points are now. You better screenshot, save the photo, because everything is going to change next week. Because there's going to be some racers that have done Sick Week, they did a Rocky Mountain event, and they're either going to do Six Summer or Big Sky. So, like, they could be light years ahead of everybody to where it looks. So pretty awesome for those guys. And again, dude, I'm excited to be talking about the Dragon Drive World Champion stuff. That kind of lets me nerd out a little bit, to be honest. Having fun with that, and it was nice to be able to put all of that together. But dude, there's so much work that goes into doing that, because I have to make sure this is a big part of this, because I know people are going to make comments when this drops. This article drops. You did not, you could not combine Rocky Mountain Group A and Race Week Group B. You could not combine those as two events, because you only made the drive one time. Okay. So even though guys like Goldstone and Anthony Watson did both events, they did not get counted twice for that. So just have that in the back of your mind. So I took whichever, like Anthony won both 14.0 index classes at Mega Week. He could only use the one that he reset the record in, because he had one more point than the other class. So instead of 34 points, he had 35 points in one, and that's the one we use. So just keep that in mind as you're looking through all of this and seeing the top 10 and all that kind of stuff. It's pretty wild. And then I think at that point there were 900 and something racers already to have entered in a national level event, which
Wow.
is pretty insane, considering we are, technically the second event of the season.
Right.
All right. And then you'll talk about the sad stuff about how we blew Stanley up on the first run.
Yeah. So when I got there on day 0, I came up to you guys and asked if you guys made a pass yet, and you said no, because if you're going to make a pass, you wanted the pass to be during competition.
Yep.
And so day 1 came around, and Steven was in Group B. So we were definitely going to stay till Group B, because we wanted to see him run in the tailgate class. So we got our pictures, we got our videos during the burnout. The truck makes a lick, it's going down track, and we see a little bit of black smoke, and then a little bit of white smoke, and then pulled over. So you and I obviously start walking down, which was the longest walk ever, I swear.
Yeah.
Down to where he was, and then we cut across, and he's riding down. Get back to the pits, and just said there's no compression. We looked around. We found a valve cover gasket popped out.
Mm-hmm.
And so we really didn't know what it was. And we started pulling out spark plugs. And yeah.
It looked bad. So
Yeah.
6 and 3 and 6, both spark plugs in those holes definitely had shrapnel in there with them, and they were mashed flat. It's pretty funny. Of course, I love when people tear stuff up. That's always cool. It's great content. And for us, for me and Steven and Narcoleptic Customs, I love the learning process behind that. Why did it do it? What happened? All that kind of stuff. Steven here saying, I'm just glad it didn't make a mess. Right. And that's a good thing. It didn't put any oil on the track or anything. It was really probably one of the wildest explosions. So it ended up deleting 2 pistons. The stuff in Steven's hand is at the track. These pictures are actually at the track. I have a video that's going out on Narcoleptic Customs of the when we pulled the heads off yesterday or Monday. It literally it's piston, like the wrist pin is still there, but there is no piston anywhere. Well, there's piston everywhere, but no piston in the hole. And it beat the the heads pretty bad.
Yeah, that was wild to see when you sent me that picture. I was like, where's the piston?
Yeah.
It just wasn't there.
Yeah, it was gone. Big shout out to the Maxons who have we're doing some trading on a long block. So Steven's going to go ahead and put the valve springs on. Like I said earlier, Luke B at Howard's Cams has sent us a cam and push rods because we absolutely destroyed a push rod, like cut that dude in half basically. So we needed push rods anyway. So now it's a matter of we found two lifters that are destroyed as well. So going to be going to be doing all that, fixing all that stuff, and should have it done by the circuit. That's kind of the plan. Should have it done by the circuit. Yeah, piston delete mod for sure. Listen, if you want to lighten up your rotating assembly, just get the pistons out of the way. But what was crazy is, dude, it had no compression, but the sealing surface on the cylinder heads were still fine. I mean, it like just annihilated the pistons. I don't even know how to explain it. Like it
Like
didn't torch your head.
vaporized the one.
Yeah, it didn't torch your head. It didn't hurt like, between cylinders or anything like that. Both valve covers or both head gaskets were fine. It just literally they gone. No more pistons for you.
So
Yeah,
is the
no
motor
Bagley.
is the motor already out of the truck and everything then?
No, it's here in the shop. My plan is to get the torque converter broke loose tomorrow morning, early, and then hopefully yank that thing out tomorrow night, maybe Friday night, something like that, before I head towards Six Summer. So the Six Summer trip is gonna be quick. I'm gonna be up for day 0 and day 1 and then come back. We've got like 17 days until the circuit. So yeah,
Yeah,
Tom Bailey.
crazy.
I tried that. Not recommended. Yeah. And the sad part is, looking back, Steve and I both, we probably should have found a short block and just thrown it in there. But I guess a long block would have had to be done then. Anyways, all right, we'll know for next time. The Narcs cart, bro, primo stuff. It worked. It
It
worked
did the
the
whole
whole
week.
week. Yeah, we didn't
The only
have any
problem
struggles.
is it shut off once.
Yeah.
And the scavenge pump relay. That was it.
Yeah, and both of those were in the rain on the drive day. Yeah, go ahead.
I'd say otherwise, it was. I mean, it drove like a Cadillac all week.
Yeah, yeah, it did great. What was crazy is it had just started raining hard, and I knew we were going to be in trouble because of the positioning of the turbo. And we're literally coming up on a bicyclist on the side of the road, and it just dies. As it had just started raining, I was like, "It's going to be a long day." It'd been raining for 15 minutes, and we were already in trouble. But it didn't. So we drove through another 8 hours of rain, torrential rain.
That did happen.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that in a minute too. I didn't put any photos of that in here. We've got some good stuff that's coming, but I am thinking about driving the Narcs cart to Six Summer, so you guys up there may see it. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. I'm trying to decide how we want to go.
Well, thanks, Tom, for jumping on.
Yeah, man.
We'll see you. We'll see you soon, hopefully.
Hopefully soon, or we need to have him on because that was great, man. His adventure was amazing for sure. Well, let's talk about some circuit updates. Really don't have much. We're really kind of winding into the last few weeks here. 2.5 weeks left before the circuit. Really, I guess 2 before the circuit, and just kind of buttoning up things. Make sure we've got stuff all together. Make sure everything's in the trailer. All that kind of stuff. But we did basically get to drive the route, and except for like maybe one spot, everything looked good. All the route stops looked great. All of the roads looked great. All that looked like we're going to be doing the right thing in the right places. So that should be kind of fun. And I see Hot Rod Hangout popped in here. Oh, sorry. Popped in here. They did have some rain. What they thought was going to be a lot more damage with the rains in Galena the other day. And based on an update he said a little bit earlier, looks like everything's going to be fine. So that's a huge win for them.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep. All right.
Robert, I can't wait to Camp Council.
Man, oh, I'm so ready, dude. I'm so ready. It's going to be so much fun. The block party again, Friday, June 27th, Galena, Kansas. Is going to be huge, 300 or 400 cars. I think it's going to be absolutely wild. And we're going to take over town. Live music, practice tree tournament. We're going to have valve cover racing. We're going to do belt sander racing. All, big shout out to um, the Hot Rod Hangout and Speed Shop and Diner. and the work of Gearhead Curios for helping us put all of that together with Galena, Kansas. All right, and then the old truck, obviously there in front of Waffle House. I was going to talk about the route when I put that up. All right, Mr. Eric, let's do some driven racing oil event updates, sir.
You got it. All right, Driven Racing Oil is the performance engine oil that can do it all. GP1 is the ultimate oil for any race or performance application, whether launching hard at the drag strip, enduring the extreme heat of off road and circle track, or even pushing limits in top fuel drag boats and demo derbies. Winning racers choose GP1. Compatible with engines from classic hot rods to cutting edge race machines, GP1's unique surface cling and high zinc formulation ensures superior wear protection, particularly for flat tappet camshafts, while solving issues like cylinder washout with methanol and ethanol fuels. It's crafted from the legendary Bradford, Pennsylvania base oil, then enhanced with state of the art additive packages. GP1 offers the best in protection and performance. So if you guys need Driven Racing Oil, you can hit up the website, drivenracingoil.com. You can see them. They were at Mega Week. They will be at Six Summer. Or you can follow them on social media and see what other events are going to be at Driven Racing Oil on Facebook and Instagram.
Yeah, definitely. And that's what this first photo is going to be talking about is them at Six Summer. Man, they are busy, busy folks.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
they even went up
Basically.
and spent like a day or two at Hot Rod Power Tour, if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken. Something like that. So, anyways, man, it's crazy. Well, June is just getting into high gear. Like, it, this is going to be nuts. I figure let's maybe rotate these as we go through here. So, I'll kick it off. Alaska Speed Week is happening right now, June 8th through 14th, Alaska Raceway Park, and then another track. This is 6 days of event and 3 days of racing. That's how far apart these things are, and it looks like they've got some cool cars and some beautiful weather. Man, the scenery there.
Oh yeah.
That's a
That's
bucket
got to
list
be.
event.
Yeah. Got to be beautiful there. And look at the clear skies.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
Then next up is the home quarter Dragon Drive, which is June 13th through 15th. So starting here in 2 days, Saskatoon, Canada.
Yeah, that's going to be going to new one for 2025. We got Street Weekend UK. That's going on June 13th through 15th over at Santa Pod. We heard Tom Bagley talking about getting ready for it with Graham Smith's car.
Yep. And then we've got Six Summer, June 15th through 20th. So just coming up here in, what is that, 4 days? Whew, 4 days. Starting at my home track, Byron Dragway, here in Byron, Illinois, where I will be there the entire week. Dad was in here in the comments earlier. He's coming with me for the whole week. Going to be his first full Dragon Drive and some new tracks for him. So we are super excited.
Yeah, I'm excited for you guys to do that adventure together. I think that's going to be really cool. You know, father son time. As adults, you really don't get that a whole lot. You know, with you guys working on his car and stuff, that's really neat. And man, I think that's going to really ramp up after he enjoys this week on the road.
Oh, I guarantee it. And
Yeah.
we've got the engine pretty close. We're just we need lower motor mounts. We're gonna replace them, and the motor's ready to at least drop in there. So we're getting
Oh,
close.
man, that's awesome. That is awesome. And same week as Six Summer, we have Montana's premier drag and drive event. This is Big Sky Race Week, which Jesse Fox will be at June 15th through 20th. This is another bucket list event for me. Big shout out to the Lowrys. Cassie and Kevin Lowry are going up in the 57 wagon that they brought on Mega Week. And then they're coming back home and they're doing the circuit the next weekend.
Yeah, if we're crazy for doing the media on all of them, they're just as crazy for racing in all of them.
Yeah, that's for sure.
And then next up is BC Drag It Challenge, which is June 18th through 23rd, and that is over there in British Columbia.
That's what BC stands for. I'm excited to see this will be their third year to host this event. Always gets bigger as you go along, especially when you have good promoters and hosts of the events like that. And then the Circuit 2025 round two. This is going to be nuts, man. I'm telling you. This is going to end the June event run, and it's really crazy to think there's 12 events. I think we said in the end of May and all through June. So more events now than I think there were in 2022
Yeah.
when we started all this. So pretty wild. That puts us at 49 events on the calendar on dragdriverpete.com/event list dash 2025. You can go on there and find all the stuff. I mean, every event that we know about is on there. And actually, I forgot we don't have one. We should have talked about it early on. I-57 Drag and Drive just kicked off their promotion. I saw it last week. I mean, maybe I should have seen it earlier. I don't know, but it's going to be in Illinois. Looks like it's over kind of by Springfield, Illinois. Is that right?
Yeah, I
Somewhere
think it was
in there.
towards, yeah, Southern Illinois.
Yep. So kind of a 2-day event in August 21st and 22nd. Start at one track, unload there, drive to the second track, do your, I think it's Friday and Saturday, do your Friday night runs at that track, and then back on Saturday for another one. So uh, pretty cool. Love seeing these pop up. You know, that gives us, again, 49 events on the list for 2025. It's crazy.
I unfortunately do not have a valve cover ready yet. I was
I,
thinking about that a little bit ago, and I was like, I'm just thinking, when am I going to do this? I need to do this, but
yeah.
when?
I know, man. That's the swapping the engine in the old truck definitely puts a damper on my valve cover racing, but I do have a few valve covers I think would work for that. And Steven is building one, and with the design he has, I think I can make something work pretty easy. So
Yeah,
we'll
I'm
we'll
excited for that though. That's going to be fun.
yeah. Carl Steamy here saying, "Hey guys, hats off to rocking in the Narcs cart, man. It was a blast. We had a good time.
Yeah,
We're gonna talk about
it,
that here in a little bit too."
it was fun for sure.
Yep. Big shout out to Driven and the team for being a part of the Drag Driver Pete brand over here. We appreciate them and all the support that they give us, man, for sure. Can't wait to hang out with them at Six Summer. All right. And J Wire Solutions, our next spot here. Expert car and marine wiring solutions you can trust. J Wire Solutions can wire or plumb your hot rod, race car, drag and drive car. Plus, they offer products to make your driving experience better, like the blinker module. We talk about this all the time. You got to have this thing. It's a must for drag and drive cars. It basically allows your turn signals to work while your brakes are on, just like your stock daily driver does. But like these aftermarket wiring harnesses do not do that, and the J-Wire blinker module does. They've got a ton of stuff coming out, man. Jay is really hammering down on a lot of products and a lot of neat things that he's got working on over there, and they've got a full shop full of stuff. But let's talk about Drop the Hammer, because Jay dropped the hammer on them folks over at Drop the Hammer, and took the podium for the top 3 spots in the
That's so
545
awesome.
index class. Oh man, dude, so awesome. So I want to run through the winners of the classes, and then we can jump in and tell. There's 2 stories I want to talk about while we were there, and my goal would be to have guests on from Drop the Hammer, maybe after we can get through Six Summer and Big Sky. I think we definitely want to talk to these folks, but it's so hard to, we have room for 2 guests every week, and we're not going to have any guests on this week because we got so much stuff to cover. All right, 117 racers. Drop the Hammer, Michigan was crazy. More than double showed up this year than last year. 117 racers, 14 cruisers that were going along with them. Winner of the event and overall winner of the unlimited class and overall at the event, Steve Morris with a 454 average over 3 days in the Boostmaster.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, and then
Yeah.
I've got photos basically running here. I didn't put these in order at all.
The next class was the 28-275 class, which was David Deal with a 4.75 average.
Yeah, those dudes got down. That's impressive from them. 545 index is Brian Acton and Jay Blanchard with a 5,467 average. It was a super tight race. Listen, the second place was Roger Wardell, who is also a J Wire customer, with a 5,470 average. That's right, 3 thousandths of a second average. And then John Mayer, who we've had on the show before, has the twin Torque Storm supercharged car with a 5,487 average. So, dude, they were all close. Like, I think in the notes it said Roger actually had the lead going into day one, and then Brian just did Brian Acton stuff. To be honest.
That's so awesome. And
Yep.
then the last one was a 640 index, which was Justin Deward with a 6.402. 640 index, average of 6.402. Ran a perfect 6.400 at Lapeer and back at Mid Michigan.
Crazy.
That is
Crazy.
wild.
Yeah. Yeah. Big time badasses there. Dropped the hammer. Carl Stansel posted in the page there. He said, I've been racking my brains all week on what to say about Drop the Hammer 2025 presented by Steve Morris Engines. I had ups and downs all weekend long, and at the end of the day, it was effing awesome. We over doubled in size over last year with 117 racers and 14 cruisers making the journey. There were racers from all over, like Florida, Iowa, North and South Carolina, and almost to Quebec, Canada, participating in the festivities. I want to thank everyone involved, from the racers to the crew to the sponsors, for the support you all stepped up for. I could not have done this without my crew. They killed it, from getting tech and registration knocked out to entertaining everyone on the mic. Julia Hopkins was a rock star, keeping us in line and helping me plan all of this. And to my wife for giving me the drive, advice, and support to follow through with this venture. The sponsors' support for something like this has made this all possible. There are so many that wanted to be a part of this. It is going to take me several minutes to make the list. So big shout out to Carl. We're seeing these regional events really truly grow. 2 years ago, a 30, 40 car field was huge in this. Now we're seeing 70, 100, more than 100 at events consistently, which is awesome. So it's going to be really cool to see them move forward and do so well in the future. I'll let you read what Fast Act Racing, the
Yep.
post they made.
So Fast Act Racing, which is Jay Blanchard and Brian Acton, they posted, we arrived early morning to Mid Michigan Motorplex and got things set up. Being a short drive from Brian's, we opted to just drive the car, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
We struggled with some traction issues as the car transitioned over the bump, but finally got a tune sorted out that would net us a 5.460, a hundredth off the index in fourth place. The drive was uneventful and the checkpoints were really awesome. We flirted off and on with rain for a majority of the drive, and the temps fell into the 50s.
Ooh.
Yeah. We arrived to find a full parking lot of fellow participants. We had dinner and proceeded to share racing stories well into the evening hours, which is our favorite part of,
Yeah.
after hours of Dragon Drives. Saturday, we arrived at Lapeer International Dragway with our sights set on climbing the ladder and positioning ourselves well for the Sunday conclusion. The track went away quickly as many competitors started spinning. Midway through the afternoon, we managed to put together something and netted a 5.454, finally bringing this hot rod around. After about an hour, Jay had an idea, and with some poking from Brian's son Kyle, we tossed the Nova back into the lanes. 5.452.
Dude, you already had a 5.454.
Right, right. So they go back to get a 5.452.
Wow.
These guys are consistent. We always talk about that.
Yeah.
Another uneventful drive, complete with a trailer burnout at the last checkpoint, and Sunday would be our chance to clinch our second Drop the Hammer title. Sunday, back at the home track, we managed 3 passes to get us a time slip good enough to lock things up on the final day. Our good friends Roger Wardell would finish second, and John Mayer would finish third in his first ever Dragon Drive.
Yeah, he ruined those guys.
For sure.
Definitely John. So that's pretty awesome, man. Congratulations to them, and I can't wait to see them at the circuit. All right, that is again, big shout out to Jay Blanchard, owner of J Wire Solutions, and can't wait to hang out with them at the end of the month.
Yep, for sure.
All right, Molly Motorsports here. Go ahead and read that one. We'll talk about some of that. We'll talk about the Olympic streetcar shootout, the other event.
Yep. Racers and high performance enthusiasts, are you ready to start your next engine build? Well, if so, there is no better time than right now to check out Molly Motorsports all-in-one Power Pack piston kits. With over 1,200 applications, These kits come complete with pistons, rings, wrist pins, and clips, all designed to work together. Molly Motorsports Power Pack piston kits take out all of the guesswork. No more trying to determine if a piston will need this ring to work with a certain cylinder size. Molly Motorsports did all the engineering so you can get to the part that matters, which is building a power plant that leads you to victory lane. Visit mollymotorsports.com for more details. And to all of our podcast listeners, Molly is spelled Mahle.
For sure. Quick stories, real quick. George Wright took third place in a small block in a stick shift car. Pretty freaking awesome. With a 10.562. Struggled with suspension the first 3 days for sure. I think after day 3 of racing, they kind of got it under control a little bit. But man, even on like, even I think in the shootout, they were still struggling pretty hard. Like if he left just a smidget over what it should have been, it just hopped and jumped around. So once that car gets that figured out, man, they're going to be on point.
What is
And
wild with that car when I watched it is when it launches, the whole car raises up
yeah,
like nothing like shifts. Just the whole car just goes. It
yeah,
was it was kind of wild to see.
yeah. Usually, like if you have like a radio car, it'll kind of drive the tire, but it was just like the whole thing was like trying to
Yeah.
leap its way down the track. Man, once he got it rolling, though, like once he shifted, like once he was rolling in second gear, it was fine. But that man, before that, he had a pretty rough ride, which probably didn't help at all. You
Right.
launch and it's bucking, and you're trying to get to second. And then Eric Grillo, freaking tree cutter, goes down there, tells us literally on camera. I'm editing that video too. On camera, oh yeah, I'm a first round duck. I figured I would, give somebody a chance to go in. Dude goes 3 rounds.
Right.
The bracket race is crazy, man. Couldn't
Yeah.
believe it. Big shout out to him.
Super cool truck. We passed him on the road. We actually saw him in a bunch of different places, but it was
Hmm.
pretty cool to see that thing rolling along.
Yeah. Yeah, he had a great week, and we did too, man. It was awesome. Olympic Streetcar Shootout looked like they had a great weekend, man. Again, we're talking about the biggest weekend in drag and drive history. So, Tucker's Towing and Paint, and again, these photos are not in order here of racers. I don't know who these folks are, but Tucker's Towing and Paint Factory Real Street Class, which is like a 750 index, was won by Ray Dominic. So big shout out to them. I don't have the ET times on these, so I'm reaching out to Olympic after this to see if we can get those.
And then Cascade Diesel Naturally Aspirated was James Taggart.
Yeah, big win there. RM Collision and Radioactive Fab Limited Street. Jeremy Sears, the promoter host of the event, won his own class, which is freaking awesome, man.
Yeah, for sure. Parker Race Shop 3 pedal was Randy Parker.
Yep. And then Flat Black Automotive Tailgate was Mike Grady, also the quickest pass of the event, also in a truck, obviously with the tailgate, and it was a long bid based on one of the posts. So I
That's awesome.
think it's probably that green truck in there.
Yeah,
512's pretty dang quick out of a pickup.
yeah, for sure. Big shout out to Alex here, man, and everybody else that has made comments. Lots of comments about the photos I took this week. Definitely appreciate reading all those comments. It's cool to see that you guys are enjoying all them. So, and got to spend a lot of time hanging out with him, hotels, and he drug a car back, just pulling it with his truck. Like it was fun.
Yeah, that is for sure. 918 Motorsports in here saying we love tailgates. They do that for sure. And then good seeing y'all at Mega Week. It was great seeing those guys too, man. It's awesome to hang out with them. All right, let's again thank you so much to Molly for the support over the years. They were our second sponsor to sign up, and man, they're awesome to be working with. Works is a leading manufacturer of high performance fuel system components. The DW product line includes fuel injectors, fuel pumps, pump modules, fuel rails, regulators, filters, lines, and fittings, and surge tank. Engineered to support power levels ranging from 400 to, I'm going to say 3,000 horsepower now, which we're going to talk about in a minute. Since its founding, Works has been committed to delivering quality, innovation, and precision to the automotive performance industry. Every DW product is built to maximize reliability and efficiency. ensuring optimal fueling solutions for racers, tuners, and performance enthusiasts worldwide. With a focus on engineering excellence and industry leading customer support, Deechworks continues to drive the future of high performance fueling. Big shout out to them for giving us the tour, bro. It was awesome to have that moment to just, I mean, we spent probably an hour walking around the back. It was
Yeah,
so cool.
yeah,
It was so cool.
definitely a cool place to check out. Glad we made that decision to stop there because it was super cool to see. You know, everything from their testing to their packaging. You know, tons and tons of cool
Yeah.
stuff. That right there was super cool.
Yeah. So just a bit to go through just some stuff here. The photos you're looking at are actual, like Eric took these photos of stuff in the warehouse. Super cool to go around there and see just the man, the brain power it takes to put all that together. Like, because they don't just, okay, here's our shipment. Okay, send it out. It's like every single pump and injector is tested. Everything is made sure it's good to go. Everything is labeled and put away and bagged. And it was that we have a whole video on it. The whole tour is on the video. But I'm gonna tell you right now, this machine, bro, wow,
Yeah,
wow, blew my mind. Can run up to 10 pumps, and when they're testing a new product, they will run it for nearly 40 days.
nonstop
Let me say that again. 40 days to simulate like what a half a million like workload
cycles.
of the thing. So like 70,000 miles is basically what they're trying to put on. So you start thinking about that. Like how many times have you driven your hot rod 70,000 miles? It's
There's a
probably
yeah,
Rich Guido
yeah, right.
on the same fuel pump, right? Because typically, as hot rodders, we're upgrading. We run out of pump, we put a bigger pump in it. We run out of injector, we put bigger injectors in it, and we do that every season on some cars. Or sometimes halfway through the season. Sometimes before you even drive it, people are upgrading stuff. Oh, I bought a bigger turbo. Guess I better put a bigger injector and a bigger set of bigger pump in it and all that kind of stuff. The injector machine, same way, like nearly 40 days that they're cycling through injectors and making sure that they're going to live, looking at the wear on the injectors. Man, these guys are nerdy for some cool shit. It
Yeah,
was it was awesome to be around that whole facility and see all the cool stuff that's there. So highly recommend you swing by there. They're right down from the Capitol in Oklahoma City, and I'm sure Krista and Kai and it's not Sean, but it's something really close. Jean, maybe Jean.
that's what I thought it was.
Okay. Yep. Yeah, I think you are right because we were talking about that in the messenger. Yeah. So good call on that. Man,
And
big
then
big shout out
David,
to him.
we got to talk to David himself.
Yeah, the Mr. Deach.
Yes.
It was so funny. So we're walking out to the car, and I was like, it was behind an F-150, and it opens the video if you guys haven't seen it yet. And I was like, hold on, y'all stand over there, and I'm going to record you as you come around the corner. And they were like, y'all drove this?
And for how long?
Yeah, in the rain.
Yeah. And then of course we're crazy week. We're already running behind. We get in the cart. We're bombing down the interstate, 75 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Take our exit. We're just about there. Turn the corner. What happens?
Oh, dude, completely destroyed all of my Cayman Jack margaritas because it
The cooler wasn't strapped
threw,
down.
threw the cooler off. Luckily, a tow truck driver, was right behind us. Didn't know that, so he just blocked the lane, turned the lights on. It was no big deal cleaning them up, except that we had to drive up probably 300 feet. No, maybe
Yeah.
not that far. Maybe 150 feet up to pull off, or we'd have gone up over a big curb, which the cart could have done, but I didn't want to. And then he had a McFarland aviation shirt on, so he's our people.
Yeah. Yeah. Pretty entertaining.
Yeah,
Uh,
it was a good time.
Thank you, Matt, for this. Said
Yeah,
we killed it. Appreciate that, and it
yeah.
was so much fun.
Oh man, I could hug that dude one more time. It was awesome. So big shout out to Deechworks. Um, this right here, this shot here, for folks listening on the podcast, just stop listening, go to YouTube, find this. You've got to see this. Like this was all stuff that was just they were working on. Like it's just like this pile of modules, and it really, that's why I said they do 3,000 horsepower now, is because they were working on a GTR in tank module setup that'll support 3,000 horsepower.
Yeah, pretty
Literal drop
crazy.
in into a
Drop it.
factory tank. Crazy. Big time stuff. Like Danny Fatkus says, it's also called engineering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dart's cart slogan: "Have
Yeah.
cardboard, will travel."
Yeah. And big shout out to Deechworks. Also, we grabbed some of the what I call chloroplast, which is like corrugated cardboard but plastic,
Mhm.
and we never used it. We didn't have to. It didn't rain anymore. It did get a
Yep.
little bit chilly one night, but that was it. We just put hoodies on.
But you know what? That stuff will come in handy at some point.
Oh yeah. So I was digging around in the shop yesterday. If I'm going to take it to Six Summer, I'm probably going to have to figure out something. So I found the pieces from before that I had actually cut and trimmed and all fit nice and all that stuff. But man, it's so boring. So we'll see. I don't know. I'm still up in the air if I'm going to bring it to Six Summer. I may though. Anyways, okay, let's talk about Sick on the Green. Huge event, nearly 200 cars signed up from Drag and Drive and other race car life. You guys can find all the results and stuff at sickthemag.com, sickthemagazine.com. Derek did an incredible job doing a write up on what all went on over there. So I kind of snipped some of the stuff, Drag and Drive related for our side. I didn't get a car count on what the drag and drive class was, but what I did see is that our boy Jeremy Ortiz, Team Hybrid Racing, took down the $3,000 Little Gangsters class, which is a 530 index with no time slips. So you don't get time on the boards, you don't even get a time slip for yourself to know where you're at. So this is pretty cool. I think that class should be sponsored by Draggy.
Yeah, right.
Like how
That
many
is
folks.
brilliant.
Yeah. Yeah. So that should, because I can't imagine the amount of draggies that are in those cars. But big shout out to him. Took home 3 grand. So he won at Streetcar Bragging Rights, won like 5 grand, 4 or 5 grand there, and another 3 grand here at Sick on the Green. So
And he's
huge
coming
shout
to
out to
Six
him.
Summer.
Yeah. And he's coming to Six Summer. There's no money won at Six Summer, but he's coming for that win. He's one of like what 13 people that have ran a perfect 8500.
Yep.
So pretty awesome. And then big shout out to Jimmy Dale, kind of a drag and drive adjacent guy. I love that guy. $10,000 win on Saturday, and then ran up against Bill Shores. Bill Schwartz, another huge drag and drive guy. He's been on, I don't know, 10 drag and drives. So running in the 530 class, Little Gangsters class, at Sick on the Green for Saturday. All
Yeah,
right.
that's awesome.
Yep. And then I'll let you run this run this first here because this is pretty badass.
Yeah. So the drag and drive portion of Sick on or Six Streetcar Challenge, Chuck Stefanski took that home, $4,000 in the wagon, quickest big block, quickest supercharger, quickest 4-door, and quickest 275 radial. That's $7,000 right there in sick events.
Yeah, that's pretty freaking awesome. So big shout out to Chuck. Big Three Racing had him on the show a couple weeks ago. Man, tell you that wagon just continues to impress. And I think we figured out then it's the quickest uh, centrifugal supercharger Dragon Drive. So pretty
Yeah.
awesome.
And
We'll stay
then
on him and run through some of the other winners too.
Yep. And then so from Sick the Mag, 7 racers claimed 2 checks for their efforts. They included the Stefanski's Ohio neighbors, Bob Hess, with the quickest turbo and quickest small block, and Rick Trunkett, quickest Mopar and best reaction time. So big 3 racing out there, killing it.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and then Lamar Swindell Jr., who picked up quickest Chevrolet and quickest nitrous titles. Six Summer Cole Rymars, hey, we know that kid.
Yep.
Quickest naturally aspirated small block and young gun. And then Mike Finnegan doubled up and claimed quickest stick shift and quickest gasser.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. And then 2-time Sick Week competitor Kevin Schweizer picked up 2 checks with his unique Godzilla powered Mercury station wagon, quickest Ford, and splitting the most consistent category with fellow Ford runner Jason Wagoner. Newly married Jacob Davis won quickest AMC and quickest naturally aspirated big block.
That's awesome. And then Barry Cook, we know, I love his car. Put together the best average to win the highly contested best street race 535 average category. So pretty awesome, man. The Sick on the Green and Sick at the Rock events, I think definitely have a place in drag and drive. I think those style events are going to be popping up a lot more. I think we're going to see a lot more drag and drive oriented stuff. Bragging rights, I think, is a streetcar bragging rights is a great example of, these guys probably already raced that stuff, but now they're just getting a lot more, I don't know, publicity, I guess probably
Right.
is the best way to say it. And then Tyler Scholl's asking, are we going to Six Summer? Oh yeah.
Yep.
Oh
I'll be there. I'll be there again all week,
yep.
and you're coming up for the first few days.
Yep. Day 0 and day 1. Then I'm headed back home. We got so much stuff to do here at the house. So again, big shout out to Deechworks. Appreciate them for giving us the tour. Appreciate them for their support here at the channel and all the fun stuff that they do within the drag and drive community. All right, man. You want to read us into this?
Yeah. So again, we can't do this without our race car friends. It was awesome to see 535-ish race car friends last week. So much fun. We probably could have planned to see our B group race car friends a little more, but again, like I said earlier, we didn't know what we didn't know, but now we know. That was
Yeah.
wild. So again, thank you everybody. Thank you everybody that's been commenting on the pictures, tagging the drivers. That helps us out a ton. We are talking about potentially setting up a site where we can actually have people purchase photos if you would like to. So with Mega Week, Sick Summer, and the circuit coming, we're kind of tossing the idea around of maybe getting that set up here pretty soon. But again, thank you, all of you guys, all of our race car friends, and our sponsors. Again, we saw Summit Racing, we saw Deechworks, we saw Molly, and we saw Driven all on Mega Week. Again, appreciate all of those guys, plus Howard's Cam, again, helping out with the old truck when we were down and out. J-Wire Solution, WAF Racing, Performer-Built Transmissions, Car Chains 3D, Power Tube TV, Sweet Patina, and Racing Junk. Again, if you guys are going to spend money, please try to spend it with these guys first. Let them know that them helping us, we're going to help them out as well. And our gentleman's agreement, you guys know the deal here. We love what we do. That's why we spent 8 days in every type of weather that you could imagine on Mega Week to bring you guys content, to bring you guys photos, stories, videos. It all takes time, takes money, takes effort. So the gentleman's agreement, we're going to continue doing what we do. We just need you guys to like, share, help us grow. We got no way to verify we're doing that, but that is why it is a gentleman's agreement.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let's move into the WAF racing segment here, because this kicks off our Mega Week coverage with winners and some of our favorite stories.
Yep. All right, hit this video and we'll get into it.
Have you ever wished you could fit your toolbox in the palm of your hand, or really needed that extra set of hands while making a jet change at the track? At WAF Racing, we specialize in designing and manufacturing top-tier automotive tools that are made strong to withstand travel, yet lightweight not to slow you down. Tested in-house and at the track by the team at WAF Racing, every part is made by racers for racers. From compact toolkits, carburetor top hats, or spark plug storage containers, our tools are precision engineered and manufactured in the USA. Made of the strongest materials, every piece strikes the perfect balance of durability and dependability. Maybe you need something custom just for you. We do that too. You need WAF Racing in the passenger seat for your next drag racing event. Head over to wafracing.com today to take your racing experience to the next level. WAF Racing. Design, build, race.
Man, I can't wait to hang out with that dude.
Yeah, for sure. PRI, we've been talking about that recently too. We've got our places booked. We've got our spot booked. So, man, it's hard to think that we're already that deep into it that we're talking PRI, but super excited for WAF Racing.
Yeah, he's going to be in the booth with us. We did upgrade to a 10x20 this year, which I hope is going to give us more space. I'm going to lay that out on the floor at some point here in the shop and kind of get a plan for a area we can podcast with. I think that's going to be highly important as we move into Eric and I spending more time at the booth this next year. Want to say shout out to all the folks that are coming with us to help work the booth again, and then to have Chris. He's going to be there with all the stuff that WAF Racing offers, and that's going to be super cool. I think that's going to draw in a lot of people, and then obviously we can convert those people that aren't already drag and drive folks into drag and drive folks. It's going to be kind of fun.
Yeah, we won't need a huge spot. We just need a couple of director chairs, a room for a camera, and some microphones, and a nice backdrop, and we'll be good.
Yeah, and a couch and cooler. And all right, so here's the deal. We're gonna run through Mega Week winners, but the photos that I put in here are not the winners. I ran out of time. I'll tell this story real quick while you guys hit the share button for us, please. I was trying to get all of the winners put in and all that kind of stuff, and man, it really just I started that about 4:30 after I had mowed the yard. That 2 hours it took to mow the yard really could have gone in handy to do that. So my plan is to obviously put out a huge article that recaps a lot of this stuff. There's just so many stories. Like even running through the names of this stuff blows your mind. Like so many nuanced things. Like there's a book that could be written about Mega Week. One in the racer side, 2 in media, 3 in promoter and how he pulled that off, and then 4 in how the logistics of that worked. It was absolutely insane how well Rocky Mountain Race Week Race Week Mega Week worked. So let's go through Group A during the WAF Racing segment here. So we're going to kind of alternate, and then as we find time, we're going to flip through the photos and stuff. Tailgate class is the first one I want to talk about. 50 racers in that class. And what I like about this class, one, it was new for 2025, so there's no records for it. We basically set the baseline for this, which is going to be very difficult to beat. But we set the baseline. This moving forward, I think, will be one of the biggest classes like it is now. It is a DYO similar to what Sick Week and Sick the Magazine runs with their events, which makes it easier to bridge the gap for everyone. So winner of that class, Brent Fulton, with a 0.088 difference across his passes throughout the week. So pretty crazy to see that going on there. And it was equally as tight. I'll just give real quick on this. Hunter Hay took runner-up 0.094, and Justin Vest third place 0.098. So literally, what's that? 6 thousandths and then a full hundredth split the top 3. Pretty crazy.
Yeah, definitely wild. Next class, which was a cool class, was Junior Street. So there was 7 racers. They couldn't run quicker than 9.0, but it was set up kind of like a DYO. So your winner was Brayla Tilson with a 0.077 difference. Second place was Dayton Coral with a 0.103 difference. And third place was Ammon Erickson with a 0.141 difference.
Yeah, big shout out to the kids, man, or young racers. They're not kids; they're young racers. Man. It was cool to see them do the full heads-up shootout and all that kind of stuff. Chip draw, everything. Yeah, it was pretty neat. 14.0 index. This is a big deal. Anthony Watson.
He skipped one.
Oh, sorry. Motorcycle. Shane Werner, my boy, the dude. Like, man, listen. Can I? Funny story. We're gonna go over tonight. Sorry. We're driving along. We haven't seen anybody in 2 hours. Eric and I leave. We're like, we have made a grave mistake leaving this late or this early, headed towards Kansas City. Shane and Alex Arquette are the first 2 racers we see, and they pull up behind us. And man, we just hung out. It was great. They stayed behind us, and we led the way for a good long while. So Shane Werner, winner of the motorcycle class with a 9.556 average.
Yeah, I don't know how we did it driving all night on that bike, man. I'd have been exhausted.
Yeah, wipe me out, dude.
Right. So 14.0 index winner was Anthony Watson with a 14.056 average. Second place, Larry Armstrong with a 14.073 average. And third place, Garrett Hahn with a 14.163 average.
Yeah, just remember that Anthony Watson name. 13.0 index winner, Brian McCutcheon, 13.023. Second place in 13.0 index, Robert Watson with a 13.034. And then Katie Jones, you guys saw her dancing all week, 13.053. But I do want to give a shout out to the fourth place finisher, Ernie Rail, with a 13.054 average. So 1,000ths separated number 3 and 4. That'd be a tough fourth place.
Yeah. Yeah, you're not lying. Every time Katie came up, man, she was jamming out. Everybody was really into her vibe, and she was getting herself pumped up for the pass for sure.
Yep.
So that puts us into the 12.0 index, which the winner, Alan Ledesma, who we've had on here before, 12.040. Second place, Kyle Calkins with a 12.0555 average. And third place, Jason Sereno with a 12.067 average. Man, that is 1, 2, and 3 with a 12.0 something average. And then that even goes into fourth place. So shout out to Josh Williams with a 12.0675 average. So I don't know if you call it that. Third place, 12.067. Fourth place, 12.0675.
Yeah, crazy
Yeah.
tight. Yeah, the top 6 people in 12.0 had a 12.0 something.
Yeah. Wild.
Insane. 11.0 index winner Lee Watkins, 11.052. Second place, Zach Fletcher, 11.086. And third place, Eric Daniels, our boy Eric Daniels, 11.109 average.
Yep. That bumps us into the 10.0 index. So the winner with a new record, Z Mashik, with a 10.013 average. Man, so awesome. Second place, Jacob Dietz with a 10.089 average. And third place, Michelle Roby with a 10.092 average. Again, 10.0 something. These index classes are competitive.
Yeah, that's what we try and explain to everybody, man. 9.0 index, another record to fall. 1.0, or sorry, Group A had a lot of new records that fell with this event. Sean Slaybaugh, 9.036. This dude has that car figured out. Vince Rui, 9.044. And our boy Lewis Martin with a 9.235.
And then NA small block winner, again, new record here. Sean Stanford with a 9.499 average. Second place, Keith Horton with a 10.401 average. And third place, Molly Motorsports representing George Wright with a 10.562. And again, third place, 10.562. Fourth place, Steve McNew with a 10.569 average. Again, these things are close, I'm telling you.
Yeah. Yeah, it gets better. In a big block, our boy, my homie, Carlos Astor. Buddy, I could give you a hug for finishing. Carlos has had one of the toughest runs in all of Rocky Mountain Race Week times. He's entered every event ever hosted, and I think he's finished. This makes number 4 or 5. Carlos Astor, new record holder of NA Big Block, 9.497 average. Second, our boy over at Gearhead Perspective Podcast, John Doherty, 10.367, and Charlie Ogle, 10.658, round out the podium.
Awesome. Stick shift, obviously a very fun class, one that we love a lot. Winner Nathan Curran with an 8.968 average. Man, 8-second average on a stick shift.
Yeah, those cars are so violent. I love it.
Yeah, second place, we know this guy very well, Blaine Stark, 9.896 average, and he ran the first 9 in that car.
Yeah, huge win for them. They've been chasing that for 3 years. 3 years they've been chasing a 9.
Yep. So first 9-second average, ran 9s at 3 of the 4 tracks, and the fourth one was a one and done at 10.02.
Yeah.
So congratulations to Blaine and Tom for sure. And then third place in the stick shift was Nate Whitley with a 9.923 average.
Yep. Big shout out to them. Gasser class winner, Mickey Louder, with an 11.131 average. And then I'll just do an ultimate radial there. Winner, Brad Thiessen, who went rounds in the shootout as well with a 7.910 average. Ultimate radial. Second place, David Eggerling with a 8.046. And then Jeffrey Burst rounding out the podium with a 9.945.
And then hot rod winner was Daryl Stutzman with a 9.751 average. Second place with one of my favorite trucks that was there of all of them, Yusuf Hayek with a 9.810 average. And third place, Tyler Jensen with a 9.982 average.
Yeah, Tyler's he's circuit alumni as well. Rowdy Radio winner Donovan Linwood, which we had on the show a couple weeks ago, 5.140 average. Didn't get the 4-second pass he was looking for, sadly. Second place, Cody Knutson, 5.635, and third place, Brian Collinson, 6011 for Rowdy Radio.
Yep, and then limited street winner with a new record, the one and only Randy Seward with an 8.511 average. Second place there, Blaine Thiessen with an 8.652 average. And third place, Brandon Taft with an 8.803 average.
Yeah, so that's like 6 new records for Rocky Mountain Race Week. Pro Street winner Brady Davis, 8.577 average. Second place, Anthony Reed with an 8.977, and third place, 9.074 average in Pro Street.
And then Outlaw Street, the lady with a snake in her car, Danny Odom. That was one of the funniest things. I had to go down there and check it out. 10.204 average. Second place, Tom Taylor with a 10.31 average. And third place, Liz Smith with a 10.825 average.
Yep. And then, of course, clear my throat here. This sets up something that's been brewing for a long time. Unlimited winner, new record, Bryant Goldstone with a 6.681 average. Larry Larson's previous record, 6.911 average, has fallen after 10 years, bro. That's a huge one. 6.911. Goldstone probably could have taken it last year, but was so close. But, they just didn't get any sleep. Second place, Sandon Slaybaugh, 8.161 average, and Clint Cantu rounding out the podium with a 10.148 in the unlimited class. It was man, Bryant was the car to beat for sure, and that car just absolutely worked in the mornings.
Yeah. Do you have in here the story of the race between him and Tina?
Oh, no, I don't.
So let's just say Goldstone, in Goldstone fashion, did not have an easy week. So where was it first? It was at Flying H when the window flew out?
Yes.
So
like
window
literally ejected itself.
Yeah. The parachute, the entire mount, right, came off, ripped off.
Yep.
So, and Larry Larson came down and welded it all back up.
Yep.
So they got that going.
That was pretty intense too, because that thing went out at like 200 plus 212 miles an hour, 217 miles an hour, something like that. We happened to be on the upper deck as it went, and so Eric has a few shots of that thing.
Well, that wasn't the first time.
It did the second time.
That was the second time. So this happened first thing in the morning before we even got to the track.
Yep.
We show up and see the carnage, license plates all tore up, bars everywhere. So it gets it all taped back in, blows the window out. That was the first thing. So then we make it all the way to the final day, and Bryant is in the shootout. And what were we, semi-final round, I think?
Yep.
I think it was. So Tina comes up. Tina's car's broken. She's like, hey, we're just gonna idle down the track, So they get up there, light turns green, neither cars move. Like they're both just sitting there. Goldstone's car shuts off. Tina's sitting there because she's like, "What do I do?" So
Yeah.
uh,
But
David sends her down. He says,
yep.
"Just go ahead and go down." So she's literally just rolling down the track. And Goldstone's at the starting line. He's cranking it, trying to get started. She had to been half track by the
At
time
least.
he got the car
At
fired
least.
up.
Yeah.
And this is the shootout. So obviously, even if she just rolls across the line, she takes the win. So he
Hmm.
gets that thing fired up, and I'm at the big end, and all I can see is he gets on it. Well, now the tires are cold because it's been sitting there. He is all over the track, somehow still makes it down and passes her just in the nick of time. So that was probably one of the wildest races I've watched. And I think
Yeah.
Adam Dory even made a comment like that was probably one of the wildest races he's ever called because like
Yeah.
literally worst reaction time ever. They both just sat there.
Yeah. The crazy part for that, I didn't know you were at the big end. I forgot about that. So you can actually watch it on the Drag Driver Pete channel. I did a YouTube video of all the shootout stuff. That car at about 400 feet, you can tell it. He just pours on the power trying to make sure he catches her, and it gets squirrely big time. And that's one of the most dangerous things about somebody being that far out ahead is if something happens, dude, you're coming up on that person at 180 miles an hour. So he ended up
Right.
passing, but man, I wonder. I know Tina has put out a video. I wonder if they have in-car footage of that thing coming by because it had to just about pull the door
Oh,
off.
could you imagine just seeing that
Oh,
thing ripping by, barely got control of it?
yeah, yeah. Somebody tell us if they've watched the Tina Pierce video and it's in there. Surely it's in there. Matt
Yeah.
Frost saying you can't write this up. That is for sure, man. It was the craziest ever. I do want to talk to Tom Tashin real quick. Lucky Eight Performance Shop there in Boonville, Arkansas says you guys going to Drag Week too. I will be at Drag Week. I think Eric swapped to Drag Week for Mega Week, so I
Yeah.
can't blame him, dude. 500 and something cars, man. 6,600 photos.
Yeah,
So
I'll have FOMO because especially if Goldstone gets the new
yeah.
car done, I'll be sitting here very sad that I'd be missing it. But you know, it's a lot of events, and I still have a full-time job. So
Yeah. Well, I want to tell some stories real quick because the WAF racing segment, we try and spend about 30 minutes in here, and man, we've got plenty of time. So I want to talk about the drive day in the rain. Dude, I don't know. Eric had probably prepared himself for that, but mentally, um, that was intense, dude. It
well,
was
I don't think
really
that.
raining.
Yeah, I
Really
don't
raining.
think we envisioned a rain day. You know, it
Well,
wasn't. It wasn't
I
really
I
on.
knew it was probably going to rain at some point, but I didn't think it'd be like that.
Yeah. Um, so obviously we're on a cart with a plywood roof and no doors.
Yeah.
Um, we definitely we put our luggage up underneath the what do you call that piece back
Oh,
there,
yeah.
the
The
rear
package train.
tray.
Yep.
Yeah, where your 6x9s would normally be sitting. We're like, we'll tuck our suitcases up under here. They're hard cases. We'll
Yep.
be good. And we start driving, and like you had mentioned, the car shuts off. We're like, all right, it's raining, but it's not too bad. We first pulled over at where did we stop at? We went in the car wash there, and we taped up the
Dollar General.
windshield.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we got some microfiber towels, some duct tape, just to seal off some things to try to save us a little bit. And then we get going, and man, just from there it got wild.
It really rained more than we ever thought it possibly could. And the struggle with the cart is it's not built one for that, but two, the turbo's forward facing. It's literally out front. Like if rain hits the car, it hits the turbo first. So
Yeah,
the insane amounts of water. If you guys haven't seen the video yet, you've got to go watch it. It's hilarious to watch. Eric and I bought ponchos, trying to stay dry, but that was like halfway through. We picked up. We had to buy a new windshield wiper for your side because it had been coming apart because of all the stickers on the windshield. It really rips the wipers apart. So we hooked up with Taco Time, and that's when the shots there with Taco Time. Sorry. Where's the
Wh-
Taco Time car?
Where did we get our first cardboard at? We got it at
Some.
night, right? Because it was
Oh
cold.
yes, when we were driving to Kansas City.
Yeah,
Yep.
so we
So we,
first
we
got it
picked up
because it
the
was
first.
cold.
Yeah, yeah, out of the dumpster, put it in there, and yeah, had a good time with that. The lady looked at us like we were crazy.
But that worked great because it kept the wind out, and we were able to use the actual heat in the car.
Yeah,
So that was nice. So that was our first cardboard.
yeah.
Then in the rain we stopped. Man, we stopped at the Napa. Was that
Hmm.
is that where we got the one for behind our seats to
Because
keep it
that,
from the
yeah,
vortex like coming
we can
around?
keep it off of our arm and leg with the stuff on the side panel, but it would whip around, and so our right side, like my right side and his left, were just soaked,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So we got
That
that, and we
helped.
got some more cardboard to stuff in the side, and then we made it. Where did we go to? We ended up pulling over. Man, what was that city we pulled over in?
You talking about when we stopped following Taco Time and them?
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know the city name, but big shout out to that Dollar General because that's where we got the ponchos.
yeah, we got ponchos. We got some more cardboard at that
Mm.
gas station across the street.
Yep. So now we have 3 layers of cardboard.
Yeah, well, the outside ones were begging for their life.
Yeah.
And then we finished the drive. We made it to Mel Hambleton's,
Hmm.
and we threw that away because that piece that was hanging out on my side, literally the cardboard folded in half and wrapped around one of the bars. And I think Nico
So,
even said it was like it was flapping and throwing cardboard debris at those guys the whole time.
yeah. Yeah. It was great, man. Yeah. We had a good time. We had a great time. But
So we got
to
more
talk about
cardboard
the,
from them,
yeah.
and then that was all the cardboard we used for that day.
Yeah, and that was the drive day, of course. We get to the hotel that night. Was it that night? Yeah. Yeah, that, and so having having hardback suitcases, we're like, surely our stuff is
Yeah,
dry.
let's
We
go.
put
Let's
our
go change into some dry clothes.
Yeah, we put the big camera and our backpacks and stuff in garbage bags, but didn't put our suitcases in, and we should have because every piece of clothing Eric owned was wet. Most of my stuff was wet, but like a jackass, I went down and asked if I could use the dryer. The door to the room with the dryer said out of order, so I had to go talk to the desk. So the guy at the desk was like, "Yeah, come on back and use the big dryer here." That was 2 o'clock in the morning. Um, Eric says, or Eric is up in the room. At that point, I literally get selfish, I guess. I don't know. I feel like a jackass for not offering to go back up and get your clothes and come back down because it was like for the sheets and towels. Like it was a huge dryer, could have dried everybody's stuff in the hotel. Yeah, it was a great time. The drive day was worth it. That'll be stories we'll tell grandkids, man. It was it was freaking awesome.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. We can't hear each other because of the wind and the rain, and then the it would like run down that middle bar between us, and every time we would hit the brakes, all this water would come forward, and then it would just drop like right
yeah,
on us. So we had a microfiber towel up there to kind of divert it, so it would come back here and then drop down.
yeah.
We were getting engineering in there trying to figure out how to keep the water off of us.
Yeah, the bottom of the ceiling was just had water droplets all over it, and they would just do this the whole time. They're just all around. Oh man, that was great.
But
It
then
was
we
great.
left.
Yeah.
We got to see some wicked burnouts at Mel
Yeah.
Hambleton's. That was cool. We left there, and I drove for a while after that, and then the sun came out, and it felt good. Mike fell asleep in the car, fell asleep in the cart
Yeah.
when the sun's out.
Yeah. Yeah, it was
Uh,
great. The right side of my face is still a little sunburned.
but yeah, Chris Story did what was probably the wildest burnout, and then he told us what was the wheel speed.
208 miles an hour.
Yeah, he was in fourth gear, and I've got a video of him. And you can listen to it. You can see him go through first, second, third, and then when he first goes into fourth, it wasn't happy. But then once he gets it going, man, it was just ripping.
Yeah, it was pretty wild to watch that thing do just big, gnarly burnouts. And big shout out to Alex Rops too, man. That guy murdered a set of tires right there.
Yeah,
Even
he
though
threw down as
the
well.
pavement was wet, there was a ton of heat in those tires.
Yeah, tons of tire smoke.
Yeah, yeah, it was pretty fun. You got your arm crapped on by a bird.
Yeah, I don't know what night that was, but it's literally at night. I think it was after we stopped at the casino, if I remember right.
Also on our way to Texas.
I think it might have been then. I don't know. We're literally in the car. It's nighttime. We do have a roof above us, and I just hear something go splat, like right on my arm, and I'm like, "You got to be kidding me!" And you're like, "What happened?" I'm like, "I'm pretty sure I just got shit on by a bird." So I pull out my cell phone, turn on my light, and sure enough, there's bird shit right on my forearm. I'm like, "How does that happen on the interstate?"
Yeah,
Like, do you know what kind of target practice that is?
yeah. They went back and high fived for sure.
Uh,
Oh, man, what a great time. And then last story here. The awards ceremony. Kudos to Matt and June for putting that on. Shoot, man, live music. The band was awesome. They did a bunch of covers and their own stuff. Really good. It was fun. But that night we really had worked our asses off all week. Like that was one of the hardest times I've ever worked at a drag and drive. And we put our cameras up. Dude, it felt so weird to not have it. We ended up hanging out with the guys in the Camaro that put the rear end in and flying H and had tons more struggles. They really hurt the clutch. Anyways, long stories. It was great, but we hung out with them in the line for tacos. Matt said more than, or no, the guy said the taco creator there said more than 4,500 tacos by the time we came through.
yeah, yeah. It was quite the wait. It was a good 2 hour wait for tacos,
Oh yeah,
but we got cool stories. We talked to those guys
yeah,
for a long time. Definitely made some new friends and followers for sure. But
yeah,
by the time we got up there and got those tacos, I was either starving or those were some of the best tacos I've had.
yeah. They
Either
were some of
way,
the best tacos we'd ever had.
either way, they were excellent. I
Yeah,
never
I
got
think.
over there the next day to get
Yeah.
leftovers though. I was a little sad about that.
Well, did you see the line the second day?
I didn't see it,
It
but I
was,
heard it was just as
man,
long.
yeah,
So
we wouldn't have had time.
clearly they were good tacos.
Yeah. Well, the Matt and them filled the tent that's like a 40 by 80 or some kind of crazy tent. And then I don't know, man, there had to be 1,000 people there. It was one of
Yeah.
the coolest experiences ever at a drag and drive to have everybody there hanging out, telling stories, talking. It was pretty wild. It was
What?
people were spread out everywhere. Dirty Panda, Richard Brewer, who was in here making comments a second ago, he has some amazing drone footage that I'll be putting into a video tomorrow.
Yeah. And
So
one of the coolest things I thought, and I haven't looked ahead, so hopefully you don't have this in there, but at the end of the award ceremony, Adam Dory had talked about everybody that had wrecked their cars and took his hat off and dropped some money in a hat and asked everybody to do the same thing. And watching the amount of people that came up and donated money to that was literally incredible. There was so many people that came up. I think who was it that donated the money? Somebody donated their winnings. Was it Alex?
uh,
Yeah,
um
Alex. Alex got some money. They gave him money for
yep,
something. And then he turned around and put all of that back in there. So
yep.
that was one of the coolest things I've seen. When everybody tells you that Rocky Mountain Race Week is like a family, for me, this was the first time being at an event, and I can completely understand why everybody says that. It was amazing to say the least.
Yeah, they were, man, just to pass around the thing like that is next level. That's those guys, man. That's what they do. It was awesome.
Yeah,
Um,
very cool.
Big thanks to WAF Racing for their support of the channel. We appreciate Chris and the team over there. Super cool stuff they got going on. If you're kind of a carburetor guy, hit them up. They got super cool parts and pieces. They've got all kinds of cool things like spark plug holders, and we're working on some things that are going to be drag driver Repeat related, going to be drag and drive related, that we'll be offering here as well. So I'm excited to see Chris and them very soon. I think probably Six Smokies will be the next event I see them at if I don't see them at Drag Week. All right, Performer Built transmission segment here as we lead into the last part of the show, which is going to be Group B for Race Week there. Performer Built is the official transmission builder of Drag Drive Repeat. At Performer Built Transmissions, the goal is to engineer and build the toughest transmissions on the planet. Performer Built doesn't just rebuild transmissions, they systematically re-engineer each model to eliminate OEM flaws and to achieve the highest level of performance. That is why they say their transmissions are not just built, they're Performer Built. Big shout out to Howie Price, put that big wagon in the nines the other day. They've made the move to twin turbos, and yeah, super cool. Again, like we said in the WAF racing segment, the photos that are here are not the winners that we will be talking about. So we're going to run through the winners of Group B, or the Race Week segment of Rocky Mountain Race Week Mega Week. For this one, because I was running out of time, we are just going to talk about the winners. So I'll start with the tailgate class. 46 racers in the tailgate class.
So if you're keeping track, 50 in the first one, 46 in Group B. That's 96 tailgate, and just in the tailgate class.
Yeah, it was insane. They could have. I mean, that's 20% of the event is in the tailgate class. Winner is Levi Rupert with a 0.053 difference. Second place, Jason King, our number 3 Drag and Drive World Champion points place right there. Third place for that, Jason King with a 0.092. And then third place, Bo Denny with a 0.12 difference for the tailgate class.
And for Junior Street, there was 4 racers in Group B. Winner was Tyler Wienhold with a 0.084 difference. And second place runner up there, Isabella Holt with a 0.12 difference.
And I want to talk to the Holts at some point this week and find out how many passes they made. I told you that was the
gold
Maverick
car.
Yeah, the Maverick, man, that car made a bunch of passes. And then Sean Alsop, I saw him and Molly when they were moving in. I think we were going to do the final awards for the shootout stuff. He said they had made 8 passes during the shootout.
Wow.
Yeah, so that car definitely had some runs on it for Junior Street and whatever class he was. I think he was in the bracket class, maybe. I don't know. Motorcycle had 8 racers for the Group B second setup. Shane Werner, 2-time winner. You've heard his name earlier. Shane Werner, 9.574 average for the motorcycle class.
And so for those that didn't know, if you were double entered, you had to turn in 2 time slips, one from each group, but you also had to make a second pass for each group. So you had to make 4 passes and turn in 2 slips. So pretty wild for those guys.
Yeah.
That puts us to our 14.0 index, double up and new record. Again, winner Anthony Watson, 14.018 average.
Yeah. Freaking awesome, man. And to reset records in the index stuff is pretty impressive. 13.0 index winner Darren Gebhardt with a 13.047 average, with second place right behind him, Brian Brown, 13.047.
Yeah.
Literally with 3 thousandths behind him across 4 days of racing. Crazy.
Yeah. 12.0 index, again, new record here. Winner Mike Barnhill with a 12.012 average.
Yeah. 11.0 index, Dale Gebhardt. So we had Darren Gebhardt win 13.0, Dale Gebhardt win 11.0 with an 11.0247.
10.0 index winner Bob Rupel with a 10.082 average.
I think I have a shot here. Yeah, there's Bob's car. So what's really cool is Bob and his son Bobby raced this car, which is important to know here in just a moment. So 9.0 index, the 9.0 killer, Vince Rui out here, 9.029 average, big winner in the 9.0 index. That car just absolutely works. Took second place in Group A as well.
Yep. And then the NA small block winner, Michael Friesen with a 10.113 average. So that was the orange Camaro. Yep, that one there.
Yeah.
Brittany Friesen.
Yep. Her car, and then Dad driving it there. In a big block winner, Bobby Rupel, same car as the 10.0 index that we just said a second ago with a 10.258 average.
Yep. Stick shift winner was Will Hogan with an 8.906 average. Man, I love seeing stick shift 8-second averages.
Yeah. Very, very fast. Gasser class, Michael Jones wins that class with a 10.745.
Ultimate radio winner, Ryan Hill with a 9.596 average.
Yep. And then in hot rod class, you've got Troy Meek, who I think has won that class before with an 8.982 average. So pretty quick hot rod.
Yeah. Rowdy Radio, again, a new record here. Winner Jacob Broyles with a 5.007 average. Man, so close.
Heartbreaking, man. Heartbreaking. Can we get a 4-second average on Rocky Mountain? Anything. Limited street winner, our boy at Taco Time, Aaron Sladen. Man, that car put in work. 8505 one day. Those guys have it figured out. I can't wait to see that car. They've been chasing that thing for 2 years. 8.786 average to win limited street.
Yeah. And our Pro Street winner, which was our runner up in the shootout, Tony Wiseman, 8.383 average.
Yep. And then Outlaw Street, Lance Walker, man, one of our favorite trucks of the week.
Beautiful.
Sadly heard it on that last day of the shootout. Lance Walker, 9.083 average for Outlaw Street.
Yep, and we'll be seeing him here in a few weeks at the circuit as well. That's our first race, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Him and Dustin Cottle.
Yep.
He had a great story. Did you hear this story with Dustin? How they broke the turbo, and then Juggernaut built a plate to block off the cold side for the Love truck, and then they drove it like that with the exhaust, and then raced it 2 days NA till they got back home, and then went down and put turbo on and went fast again.
Yeah, that was pretty wild. I forgot about that story.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And of course, our unlimited winner, double dipping both groups, Bryant Goldstone with an 8.091 average, which you might think 8-second average, that's kind of high, right? He had a 12.044 pass on day 3.
Yeah.
And he had to turn in that 12-second pass, which obviously brought his average up.
Yeah, and I think they basically just said they were just so tired they knew they had it. They knew what they had to do, and they got to Ennis. They knew what they would have had to do to win it, because the second place overall in Group B was enough that they could run like I think a 7-second anything and get there. I can't remember what they had the math done. It was and I don't blame those guys, man. They were getting their butts kicked.
Yeah.
They were getting their butts kicked. This is one of my favorite photos right here that I think you took all week. Those guys spraying fuel in there.
I actually added this down to our stories as one of the stories to talk about, because this was pretty cool. And Brian Havlick wrote a little write-up about this last night, which was super cool to see. They pushed this car up to the starting line. This was it between groups or something? Because we were up at the tower. This was at Thunder Valley. And I remember seeing them push it up, and there was nobody around. So I ended up running down there. I think James from High Speed Media also ran down there. And they were just trying to break the beam so that they could stay in competition. Mm-hmm. So they pushed the car up as close as they could. These guys are dumping fuel and spraying. I can't see what it is. Probably some kind of brake fluid, or I don't know what they're spraying to get it to start there. Looks like but anyways, they're spraying that in there, and the car fires up, breaks the beams. That's all they needed to do, and then they pushed it back and had more time to work on it, and they ended up getting the car finished, and they drove in the final day back at Tulsa, which was cool to see.
Yeah, that car is so cool too. Like, just so cool. We saw Tom pull into the night before this. We saw him pull into the hotel, and then he drove it over there, obviously. And then I think once they got there, Brian said something, or maybe put it in his post, but it was something about the ignition or something like that. It just wouldn't do like it was supposed to or something.
Yeah, oh, here he is right there.
Saved my ass.
Yeah, super cool. But yeah, that photo came out. That was probably one of my favorite ones too. You can, see the fuel coming out of the water bottle. You can see the spray coming out of the aerosol can. Brian's face is like, just waiting for a giant fireball to shoot
Yeah.
out or something.
Is
But
that the OSHA squint?
yeah,
Brian's doing.
Yeah.
Please don't burn my eyebrows off.
yeah, he's got his safety squints on there.
Yeah. That's funny. Yeah, that was man, what a cool moment to capture, especially for those guys. Because I'm telling you, that's one great thing about. I'm gonna soapbox here for a second. That is one great thing about what we provide as media teams is the opportunity. Because nobody on that team, nobody in that group of people right there, took a photo. Then they did.
No, because they
Yeah.
were all in the moment trying to,
Yeah.
trying to do this.
Yeah.
And like I said, I don't think there was really anybody else around
Yeah.
like I said, I think James from High Speed Media ran down there and he might have recorded it, but
Yeah. It was really cool, man, to be in that spot at that time to see that and not be out in the pits, man. We spent a ton of time in the pits too. There's a lot of great photos, and Eric and I were talking about this before the show, but we need to do just an episode of just me and you talking about stories because we're really covering a lot of everybody else, but we had our own adventures, like the old truck putting us behind by 3 hours. We had intended to leave. We were going to literally, the plan was to watch the old truck, get that footage because we can use it for Drag Driver Pete and Narcoleptic Customs. Get that. Steven blows it up, pushes it back to the distributor issue for Tom's car. Push it back to the pits. Steven starts pulling stuff. We were first trying to find, like, we still haven't found the dipstick. Don't even know where that's or tube. Gone.
I forgot about that. That was gone too. Yeah.
Yeah. So, we're doing all that. They were trying to see if it had any compression, if we could, what all was damaged, all that kind of stuff. So that put us behind by about 3 hours later than what we wanted to leave. And that really kind of set the tone for the week. We really got behind. And with the amount of drive you do on Rocky Mountain, you can't leave at midnight.
I wasn't ready for that.
Been there at 8 a.m., Yeah, I mean, our first drive day was 285 miles, and we didn't leave till 7 o'clock.
Right.
So to do that for Group B, it's fine because they didn't have to be at the track till 3. For us, we were trying to be at the track at 9 a.m. We were really trying to be at the track at 7 when they started, but I literally could not get up. We didn't get to the hotel till 3 a.m.
Yeah.
And then I was all bitchy. Probably the best way to say it. But man, we pulled in. I wish I had a photo in the slides to show people.
You took pictures on your phone, didn't you?
I know it, but it's not right for me to put those in here. But I kind of chewed a little bit of ass. Just, I didn't call people out individually, but the people that were parked all janky, they definitely had pictures taken of their stuff. So they posted online. I get it. It was the first night, but man, dang it, dude, it made it really difficult. Alex pulled in, had a hard time getting his truck parked, ended up super close to like a normie's car. We had a hard time with the cart.
Yeah, it was us, and then it was Alex. And then I think Danny pulled in with her trailer and somebody else behind him. And we're like, there is literally nowhere to go. Like, you can't turn around, you can't get through. So we're trying to get people to back up. Danny jumps out of the car and she's like, somebody else can back this up. She's like, I'm going to jackknife it. So Alex jumps in there and backs it up for her. And then we get the cart pulled into a stall and we get Alex's truck in there. And then we get into our room and it's 4 o'clock.
Yeah. Yeah. It was late. It was a very late night for that first night. It was very tough. It's very tough. And then we were back up. I think we were gone by 8.
Yeah.
John Doherty, I for sure took 3 spots for 2 days at the hotel in Oklahoma City.
But yeah, like I said, I wasn't ready for those drives. That hit me pretty good. And one of the things, like on that first night, we could have not followed the route. We could have bound from point A to point B to get to the hotel, but it was the first night, and we really wanted to catch some cars on the route, see
Oh man.
people. The problem was, like you said, we were in that in between time frame. We were
Yeah.
too late for Group A, too early for Group B, and we just ended up on some, old Route 66 roads with nobody around us.
Yeah.
So that
And
made it
dark.
difficult, right?
Yeah. So we had probably an hour of daylight. And during that first hour, there's not just a ton of stuff. So we got some photos, but not many. Then we pull into one of the route stops. Oh,
Hey, where'd you go?
sorry. Hold on. Can you still hear me though?
I can still hear you.
Okay. We pull into one of the route stops. Yep. I don't know. We pull in, here we go. We pull into one of the route stops and hey, green screen. um, Aaron Schaefer's pulled up there next to us. Had some troubles. He was out. And then Alex and Shane pulling behind us.
Yeah, and then so they were having a hard time navigating because obviously Shane's on the bike, so trying to navigate on the bike had to be horrible.
Mm-hmm.
So we ended up navigating. They followed us, and then we turn off into that one spot. Hey, there's the checkpoint, and we're gonna turn around, and they're nowhere to be found. We're like they were literally just behind us.
Yeah, I
But
forgot
then
about that.
somebody else stopped us because everywhere you go in the cart, somebody wants to ask you what it is.
Yeah.
You guys are crazy, which is cool. So we're like, all right, we talked to them for I don't know 5 minutes or so.
Probably.
We're like, all right, I guess we're just gonna leave because we don't know where they went. And then we turn around the back of the building, and then there they are pulled over. I think was Alex out of gas or something.
Yep. And Shane's like, man, we were flashing our lights at you, but the way his light was shining, the top strap on the cooler was doing this. So it looked the entire time like he's flashing his lights.
Yeah.
So we just kept driving. Oh yeah.
Yep. So that was pretty wild. And then, we get going, and man, like I said, it was 3 o'clock by the time we pulled in, and we're like, whew, this is day one. But at the same time, we're like, all right, we'll get up first thing in the morning and we'll do it again. That's what this is about for us. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we made it to the track before 8 o'clock any of the days.
No, that's for sure. And I think day 2 was our earliest time to be at the track. Mainly because we were still so excited to get there. But man, by day 3, that was the drive day. So yeah, day 2, we should probably write all these notes down to talk about. But day 2, we stay the whole time. We stayed at like 10 or 11 o'clock at the track, 10 o'clock at the
That's
track,
right. Yep.
trying to get all that content so we have a drive day the next day and then creep over to the hotel. Man, it was nuts to go through that. What's our last bit of notes here?
Yeah,
The
day 2 is
last route stop. Yeah.
Yeah, day 2 was Flying H. Beautiful facility, by the way. Awesome. And that's right. I forgot about that. We decided everybody had talked about driving on the drive day on day 3, so everybody was just going to stay
Mm-hmm.
at Kansas City or whatever. So we ended up staying all night, and we were doing good. We were getting videos out. We were getting photos out each night. Still then, but man, after that, we got our butts kicked.
It was pretty intense because that gave us a 489-mile drive to do in
Nine,
one day.
I think it was like 9 hours.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, no,
But
I think it took us 9 hours to get to Mel
no,
Hamilton or
that's right.
something
Yeah,
crazy.
that's right.
Yeah, we still had 3 hours after that. It took for a long time. I think
Yeah,
after Mel Hamilton, we just hit the interstate and cruised at like
yeah,
70 miles an hour, 75 miles an hour.
yeah. But Flying H was awesome. Tulsa, obviously my first time being there. Awesome. Um, Thunder Valley I've been to before. I used to go to Outlaw Armageddon back in the day there. And then Texas Motorplex was also an awesome
Oh,
facility.
it was
But
so nice.
God dang, Texas was so hot. Like you literally just walked outside and you're just like, I'm sweating, not
Oh,
doing anything, just sweating.
and it's so big that it's very hard to get around and see everybody. I think Wednesday, Thursday, whatever day that was, Thursday was the least amount I talked to people, but we put out more content that day because I had time in the media room. So
I didn't even told you about this. This just reminded me. Because you are walking everywhere because you don't have a scooter because your scooter is broken and for whatever reason you haven't worked on it in 2 years. Telling you I don't know why, but and his name is bothering me. And if you're watching, I apologize. But I went down to the big end and was taking pictures, and I go past a scooter that somebody's riding down there, and it's got a Milwaukee battery stuck up on it. And I was like, you and I were just talking about that. Like, is there a
how
way
cool.
that you can power up yours? Because for whatever reason, you said it would be on the charger, but the minute you pulled it off, it was dead. So
I wonder if I can do that. I bet there's a way. Again, I just got to take it apart and look.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
fine. I'll do that tomorrow.
I hope after this trip you realize how important it is to have a scooter.
Oh man, it was brutal. It was brutal, but it forced me to talk to people. You know, the more you walk, the more like you're talking to folks as you go by. But that was also the problem because then I spent 2 hours talking to people and not working. So,
Yeah. And the other
anyways,
thing I gotta say is people were amazing at offering us waters as we were walking around. That was great
yeah,
because we needed those. I don't know if we would have stopped and drank as
mm-mm,
much water as we needed had people not been offering them to us as we were walking around. So
yep. Yeah, Richard Brewer's so right here. Says scooters are so key. It just saves so much time, especially for media folks. All right. Well, as we move into this last thing, I want to talk about this last topic, and then we'll end the show. The last route stop. Big shout out to the cart for making it that far. Listen, for everybody that remembers it from 2020 and 2021, it was a burnout machine. I did everywhere. Well, I broke it back then, and I was scared that I was going to break it again. So we didn't do any burnouts, not a single burnout the entire time. 1,300 miles, probably 1,280 miles, and then we get to the last route stop. Well, high speed media pulls in. Of course, if you have a media person there, you're not going to miss an opportunity to do some dumb stuff. So, man, I
well,
whip.
hold on. You asked me if we should do this, and I said probably not.
Yeah,
And
well,
you said we're doing this.
yeah. So we turned the traction control off and ripped three big donuts out in the middle of the street just because it was like a 3 lane. And man, when I come around the first time, I thought we were fixing to hit the pole. It was awesome, but it did it, and it made it. And I love the Narcs card again. It's so much fun to hang out in that thing, and people look at it weird. And I don't know how thousands of photos probably people took videos.
Oh
It's on
man,
so many semi truck dash cams
yeah.
man, it was awesome.
We got a lot of thumbs up, which
Yeah.
was pretty cool. I honestly think my favorite though was driving through Dallas. I know you hated it, but being in the car driving through Dallas was so cool.
Yeah. So many people, just man, so many people enjoyed it. And the
And
kids in the back seat, like faces against the windows looking at that thing.
yeah, and what was the one non-racer that we got a roller shot of? Was that an Evo, if I remember right? That blue
Uh,
car?
yeah, it was Evo. Man,
That
slammed. Great looking dude pulls up next to us, gives us a thumbs up. We're like, pull over here, pull over to the other side. So he like, downshifts and then cruises over 3 lanes of traffic, and Eric's getting
but
roller smut to him.
but yeah, I don't know how to find that kid, but the
Oh,
rollers of his car turned out great. So
yeah.
if if I can find some way to get a hold of him, I'll definitely shoot him those pictures.
Yeah.
Where
Well,
where
we'll
was that
post them
at?
up. Hopefully somebody will talk to well, somebody
Yeah,
will tag.
was that in Texas?
That was in Texas.
Okay.
As we are cruising towards the hotel the night we arrived, like a Lexus ISF that was just slammed and exhaust and all that stuff comes flying up beside us, windows down, just we're 75 miles an hour. Wow. And then he gets on it before I can get on it too. So he definitely got the jump on us. That car was he didn't want any of ours. That's why I let him have the jump, you know. Uh, he just smoked our ass. Anyways, okay. This last bit, I promise, is the last topic. Matt Frost posted today. This is probably 3 hours ago now. Not saying where we might be going to race at yet, but could there be a mega week in September next year? Don't tempt my heart. Don't don't play with me. This is man. I prayed to myself that, man, you can survive this. I guess I didn't pray. I told myself you can make it through this week if you just keep working. If there's another mega week, we're just gonna have 2 teams.
That would
Me
have
and
been a smart thing to do.
man, shout out to High Speed Media for having 2 teams.
But would the stories be as good?
No,
They don't got the stories like we had.
man, no, because they didn't have the cart, dude. They just cruised in their van.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
a Tesla.
Oh, and a Tesla, yeah.
Like
So yeah, yeah, they didn't have nearly as much fun as we did. I think what we do is we just like get Red Bull as a sponsor, and we literally see how many Red Bulls we can drink in a week.
I I was wondering how many, because I'm the energy drink person of these
Yeah,
two right here. I don't know how many I went through during the
dude,
week.
2 or 3 a day for
Right,
sure. Yeah,
right. And then,
mm.
2 or 3 Gatorades, 4 or 5 waters, like
there
whew.
was some there was some fluids moved, and I don't. There may have been a full day where I didn't pee at all.
But listen, if if this happens and this is back in the Rockies, I'm gonna cry. Like
Oh
this was a lot, and
yeah,
this was shout out to my wife because I was gone for 8 full days,
yeah. And when
and then
you
I
got back, you need 8 full days to get
right,
recuperated.
right, and thankfully she booked me a room on the way home, so I
Mhm.
left Saturday probably about 8:30 at night. And got to just before St. Louis around 12:30 Sunday morning. Stopped off at a Quality Inn. It was, it was all right. I knew I was only going to be there for a short time, but took a shower, slept for 3.5 hours, got up at 5 a.m. and got back on the road to finish my 6 hours to get home. So it was a long time.
Yeah, it was man, it was worth it. And just to end the show here, Matt Frost, big shout out to you. Said won't be Rockies this time. Interesting.
Be closer
Interesting.
for you guys, closer to me.
Yeah, stop talking, man. Stop talking. If we're gonna make announcements, let's make them officially. Man, if it is, dude, listen. Let's be honest. We're just gonna take it on the chin again. Like we're just gonna go. We're gonna do it the hard way because that's the way it's gonna work.
But we're going to figure things out. Like we're going to be better prepared. We had
Yeah,
already talked about what we should have done and what we
yeah,
could have done. We just didn't do it.
yeah, yeah. We're gonna stick to it a little more next time. All right, lead us out, man. Thanks again to Performer Built. Ryan and the team over there are freaking awesome. Love those guys. Can't wait to hang out with them at Drag Week. They are literally 8 miles from one of the tracks, and so we're going to be hanging out with them for, several hours that day that all the cars go by there.
Yep.
All right.
All right. Again, thank you all of our race car friends. Thank you, Matt and June, for me again. Very first Rocky Mountain event was incredible. Definitely felt like I was part of the family the whole week. So I can't thank them too enough for everything they did. Can't thank all of our race car friends that were there. Again, 535 race car friends there, and it was amazing. Everybody again supporting us, talking to us on camera, sharing our photos. Everything you guys do is the reason that we are able to do what we're doing right now. So can't thank you guys enough. And again, our sponsors, the rental cars, one last story as we're going out. I had a
Mm-hmm.
2025 Nissan Sentra that I drove 1,300 miles back and forth from Northern Illinois to Tulsa. And I left that at Tulsa to ride in the NARCS cart for another 1,600 miles the rest of the week.
Yeah,
But
you're
again,
welcome.
but again, couldn't get that rental car. We couldn't get our hotels. We couldn't do all this stuff if it wasn't for our sponsors. So again, thank you, Summit Racing Equipment, Deechworks, again for letting us stop by, giving us a tour, Molly Motorsports, Driven Racing Oil, Howard's Cams, again for sending a cam for the old truck to get us through and get us going for the circuit again. J-Wire Solution, WAF Racing, Performer-Built Transmission, Car Chains 3D, Power Tube TV, Sweet Patina, and racing junk. Again, thank you guys, and I won't see you guys next week because I will be at Six Summer.
Yeah, I don't know if we'll have a news this weekend because I'll be driving to Six Summer. So we'll see. I'll figure that out tomorrow. All right, guys. Later. Thank you.
Yep. See ya.